so since actually teaching this complete essay module online, I've learned a couple things. So I wanted to add like a quick end note to the essay writing module. So anyways, if you're new, I've been putting together different 16-week modules. So it has 16 classes. And everyone has a YouTube video. So obviously during this COVID-19, we're working on online learning, but it's a great way to distance learn. It's the way of the future. So forward we move forward. I have made videos for each one of those classes, as well as YouTube videos to supplement and enhance that specific learning. Then we have different PDF handouts. I've also found using Google Classroom that I have made homework extra specific, giving more tips than less, especially with online learning. I'm sure you have realized that you often need more help than less help, especially for my younger students. So I was doing this with 6th and 7th, 8th and 9th graders who are English as a foreign language students. So that's when you're learning English outside of a country that speaks English. So you're not immersed in it, you're not getting it everywhere, you're getting it in class, but it's a little harder to learn than English as a second language. So English as a foreign language, these are students aged 6th grade to 9th grade. So I've seen how I need to give a little more help to my younger students, especially newer to English, and how my older students, it's just more of like, here's the videos, here's the assignment, go do it. Whereas when you say, write a 150-word essay to a 6th grader, they sort of really freak out, even if you've done every single step. So yeah, I have the syllabus. I found on the way through that I love graphic organizers. We have a whole class specifically on graphic organizers, but I actually made my own specific one that I felt worked for English as a second language or foreign language speakers. So for a regular 5-paragraph essay, this is about 250, 300 words. I have them just cluster it first in their heart language, in their first language, the one that they really connect with. Cluster that just to get their basic ideas out in their heart language, and then to translate the cluster into their thesis. So if you get your prompt and then 3 reasons why or 3 things about, you basically have a pretty decent thesis. So a thesis is basically prompt, because, reason. So that will help you organize, and especially when you're organizing from one language to another language. And then 3, write a hook and a closing. I feel like when we get into the actual writing, you sometimes forget that you have somebody who's coming and reading your essay that has no clue where you're coming from. So having a beginning, a very clear beginning, a hook to get you interested, and a closing, I feel like it's important, and you almost want to do first before you dive into really getting into the details of what's going on. So we have introduction paragraph, hook, thesis, reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, conclusion, thesis paraphrased. We did a lot with talking about thesis paraphrased, and closing. So you'll find with your individual students that there are some things that work great and some things that don't work great, or maybe, for example, your 6th graders just can't remember to put a period on every sentence, and you're like, let's go back to where we have to remember how to write a sentence. So you'll find what the things you need to do. Something that I found that did not fit in my 16-week module, but that's okay, because who knows how long we're going to be online right now, is that they did not have a very clear understanding of editing. And I wanted to focus on that more. They also got very bogged down because class 7 to class 12, every time you write an essay. And I wanted that on purpose so that they could almost mechanically just shoot out an essay and learn how to do it, and it become very natural and not scary to them. But it also became very bogged down during COVID-19, and you're stuck in your house, and the last thing I want to do is write an essay in English. So what I did is basically to give a break to the ones who really put in the work and to catch up the kids who fell behind or just didn't do some of the essays is we actually took 4 weeks after 13, and we did class 13 basically 4 times instead of 1. So what I had them do is I had them pick, I took 4 of their past essays, and those 4 weeks I copied and pasted in their old essay into their Google Class or their current class, and they had to go through, and their whole thing that they had to do for the class was to edit it. So like actually make sure there was the right word count, actually make sure there was the right sentence count per paragraph, actually make sure they had a thesis. Like I actually, when we were figuring it out, like we talked about theses a lot, but I still had students who would write a paper without an essay, without a thesis. So I actually got to the point where they had to message me what their thesis was before they wrote their paper. And that was very, very beneficial, because also I had some kids who like would write a persuasive essay when it was time to write a narrative essay. And I was like, let's go back and watch the videos again, which clearly explain the difference, and then choose a different theme and write a different thesis. So being able to be there with them, not expect as much, and obviously give as much support, especially to my younger learners, as possible. I found that adding 4 extra weeks, so we actually did a 20-week module, adding 4 extra weeks was super, super beneficial to my students to really understand the differences between essays, and also how to edit, like how to make it better. Like, you know, you always have the students say, oh, it's already perfect. And I'm like, oh, really? Let's look at it again. So that was really, really good, and I think brought out even more of the real core aspects of the essay writing module that I wanted with my students. So good luck. I hope you have a great time and lots of luck with this essay module. Figure out how it works for you. You don't have to do it the way that I wrote it. I didn't even do it the way that I wrote it. So be flexible, learn what you can, and use it wisely.